Well, hi, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal, and we are live on a Sunday afternoon, which means that it's time for us to talk about coping with stress. And I thought the stress that we would talk about today uh, would be about leftovers. You know, we've got a week to go until Christmas, and therefore, the chances are that you don't want to be dealing with a whole lot of leftovers. So, um, I'm also, in terms of that, talking about how long you can keep things in the fridge or the freezer or whatever, and how long you can keep stuff in the pantry. That mystery about when it says best buy, does that mean I have to stop using it then? Or what about that other one, right? The other one which is used by, right? Like which one? So I thought that some of you might appreciate some help. I have also what did I do with it? Yes, I've also printed out um, some pages, and that will tell us freezer or in the fridge how long it lasts for, because I thought you'd probably ask me some questions, knowing you guys, because you're pretty smart. So that's it. Before we start, so good to see, who we got here? Sandy and Jeannie, and I'm pretty certain, I know Jody was telling me she was having a problem getting connections just now, but I'm pretty sure she'll be here. So really good to see you. And first things first, thank you, Jeannie. Jeannie sent me this beautiful card, but also this beautiful Christmas ornament for my tree. And Yvonne brought it back for me. Isn't that cute? I just thought that's so pretty. Now, I've got to ask Jeannie, did you do that? Did you get a stamp and do that? Because I thought, isn't that beautiful? Ah, there's Jody. Really pretty. So that's going on my tree. The only reason it's not there is because I wanted to make sure you all got to see it before that. So thank you so much for that Christmas card and gift. The next thing I want to talk about is sourdough. And I want to talk about that quickly before I start the broadcast, because I've got some frozen here. Did you know, Sandy, did you know you can freeze sourdough? I know that you are a make your own bread person as well. I didn't know you could freeze it. So what I've done is I've put my sourdough into ice cube trays, and I am now freezing little ice cube. I'm going to put that back in the freezer. Hang on a second. And now, oh yeah, I love sourdough as well. And now I can, because one of the problems about making sourdough is you have the sourdough starter and you make it and make it, but you end up where you're producing more sourdough than you need. All right, I live on my own. I don't need a lot. So what I now realize is, now that I can freeze it, I can make a month's worth in a couple of days, maybe in a week. I can make a month's worth of sourdough and then have it available for the rest of the month. Clean this out, and then I will use one of those little pucks to restart it in the following month. Does that make sense? So, and look how much it's grown today. All right, I fed it at 12 o'clock, and it's now 3:30, and it's grown nearly an inch. Okay, so that's working well. Um, Now then, very exciting for me. Very, very exciting for me. We got 7 days until Christmas, and then we've got, about 90 days until spring. I'm so happy. Um, so that makes me very, very happy. But I got really great news. It's warm in here today. I got really great news today, and that was, well, I got great news yesterday from Yvonne, who came to visit, and that is that she and Wade wanted to spend Christmas with me. And you know how that touched my soul. And so they ended up saying they were actually available on Christmas Day. That never happens. Never, ever happens. Okay, hang on. Sandy's saying, I've been using Ben Starr's method of discard straight from the fridge bread. Okay, you're going to send me a link to that. That I've got to use. Anyway, so they're coming on Christmas. But then I thought, got to invite Doug. Every year I invite him, and every year he says no. But, this year I'm not going to change who I am. So I wrote to him and I said, you are cordially invited to come and have Christmas dinner with Yvonne, Wade, and myself. And I just left it. Told him the time, and pretty darn sure he was going to say no. And he said yes. So those of you who are longtime viewers know that Christmas Day is also Yvonne's birthday. So we celebrate both Jesus's birthday and also Jodie's, Yvonne's, both at the same time. Yeah, Jodie's saying, perhaps I should start early on next year's card since I've yet to get any done for this year. Absolutely, Jodie. Forget it, right? Yes, Jeannie's saying, what an abundance of happy times. Well, we hope so. However, you know me, I'm now on the experiment thing. I wondered, as you know, I make sourdough. What would happen if I used my cookie cutters to make buns instead of cookies? So I used this angel one, and it made a cute little bun. Now, don't you think they'll look cute on the Christmas table? All right. And I also made one out of the snowflake. I had that one for lunch. It was very nice. Thank you. So I thought, what a great idea. Have you ever seen it done? I haven't, but it's so. So there we go. That's that. Now, I'm about to get on to the subject we wanted to talk about. A couple of quick things. Number one, if you are short of money, make yourself a Savoy, buy a Savoy cabbage. See it there? That's a Savoy cabbage. It sort of looks crinkly. I buy a Savoy cabbage and it lasts me a month because just thought I'd make it festive for you, right? Because if I don't have cabbage today or the next day, then this one might start to shrivel up. I just get rid of that, and now I've got the rest of the cabbage. Don't need to use it, have it use up fridge space at this time of year. But now, instead of making salads, I'm making coleslaw. So how about that? Jeannie's saying, I've been getting ready for Christmas Eve pot roast dinner. Today I bought celery and more carrots. There you go, one step at a time. And Sandy is saying, so it isn't really discard, but his way is just keeping your starter in the fridge and only feeding it when you need it. Yes, I do know about that. Actually, that I do know. But I like the idea of making it once a month, and then I've got the pucks for the rest of the month. And then I don't have to worry about feeding and doing whatever. Did you just see? Did you just see the antlers? No, you did. I put the antlers on the cabbage. I thought it was rather cute. There we go. So, and one last thing before I get on to the topic. I have been struggling to find, my Christmas village. I managed to find this beautiful packaging, which I love, for small amounts of my Christmas village. Really love it. But my problem was the cathedral. Let me bring that closer to you. This is too big for it. All right. And I can't find the next size up. Right. And it's just too big by about 1/2 inch. Okay. And it's amazing how I have struggled. I have bought so many. Now I can put it in there, in this box if I put it this way. I think. Yeah, if I put it flat, all right, and then put it in. But then I'd have to show it like this. Mind you, that would work. However, today I'm sitting there and I'm doing something in a confetti corner, which is where I make all these things. And I thought, why don't I just make it smaller? Duh. And I went, what? I've been struggling with this for months. Why don't you just make it smaller, Sal? So I will show you next week, because this week this is this size, but hopefully by next week it's going to be just a little bit smaller. Of course, we're doing the experiment, right? That did it. Stay there. So how many of you are laughing about that? It's like, how much money can I waste on the wrong packaging, when really the simple answer was, let's just make it smaller. Here we go. Let's talk about leftovers. Our quotes today about leftovers. And I don't think I have ever in my history of being a YouTuber quoted George Carlin, because his language normally is pretty right. But I love this quote. And he said, leftovers make you feel good twice. First, when you put it away, you feel thrifty and intelligent. I'm saving food. Then about a month later, when blue hair is growing out of the ham and you throw it away, you feel really intelligent. I'm saving my life. Oh, am I the only one that was very amused by that? So, I just in terms of birthdays, I believe. Where are we? We've got a couple. I know we've got Max's dad, Chris, on the 24th, I think. We got Yvonne's on the 25th, along with Jesus, of course. And then I think if those of you go way back, it is Glenn's birthday on the 28th, I believe. So let's have a look at this conundrum about when to have food. Now, here's the golden rule. You might want to write this down. Because when I saw this, I thought, I've never heard that. And I think, therefore, maybe some of my viewers haven't heard it either. The golden rule to remember, write this down, is that use by date, the use by date is a deadline. Got it? It's a suggested deadline. It means if you want it at its best, recommend you use it by this date. Okay? No, I'm wrong on that. It's a deadline. Sorry, use by means don't mess with this. Use it by this date. All right, sorry, I'm got it the wrong way around. All right, use it by this date means just that. However, best before, right? You know that one? Best before, and then it gives you a date, means if you want it at its best, then you may want to have it then. But quite honestly, as you're going to see, some of these things you can eat way past their best before dates. Yeah. And so if you think that you've got to throw it away on the best before date or soon after that, you're wrong, which will probably save you a lot of money. All right. So use by is a deadline. Do it, use it by that date or chuck it. However, best before is a guideline. All right, so let's have a look at some things. I had a look at a couple of things. And then, of course, you've probably also seen the sell by date, all right? That's just for the store to make sure that they're turning stuff over and it's not sitting getting nasty. Now then, how long can you keep a can of food in your in your pantry? Boom, 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 boom. Let's have some guesses here. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. How long can you keep a can of food in your pantry? Sandy's saying 2 years? The question mark? Right. Here's the thing. It depends what it is, Sandy. All right. If it's acidic, for example, tomatoes or fruits or stuff like that, then use it if you possibly can within 18 months. Okay. However, food such as meats and vegetables, how long do you think you can keep those in the larder or pantry? Meat and vegetables. Really take a note of this. What do you think? Canned meat or vegetables? We're talking maybe spam or a can of beef stew or, mixed vegetables that you may want to add to something. How long can you keep those safely in your larder? And the answer is, anybody want to guess? Nobody's going to take a guess on that. Many years, Jody says. Yes, they're saying 2 to 5 years. 2 to 5 years, not months. So I am now using those canned meats and stews and stuff that I put away for the pandemic because I know it's time to start using them up and replacing them. Okay, use the one that's there and then, add it to my shopping list to replace it. So interesting, right? All right, so Sandy's saying, well, I don't buy canned meat, but it's good to know. Yes, I mean, some people do and some people don't. So that's why I thought it was a good idea to have a look at that. All right, so now let me see what else I got for you, because I got a lot of stuff here. So get it that sell by is a date for the shop, for the supplier, right? The shopkeeper. Not for you. That's for them to know. They need to sell it by. It's not a safety thing, right? Use by is a safety thing. Right, now then, listen to this. Jeannie's saying, I like to buy bread, cookies, donuts, and the like at the reduced prices because of the expired date. Yes, very thrifty way of shopping. Very clever. All right? Because it's not that it's ceased to be edible. It's just not at its peak. However, Jeannie says, if fresh hamburger or chicken package has expired, I will only buy it if I'm going to use it that day. Absolutely brilliant thinking. Well done. That's safety. And be careful because a lot of foods that end up in the freezer section are defrosted, therefore should not be frozen again. All right, so be careful about that. So how many of you have got pastas and other stuff in your pantry and wondering how long? I have a lot of powdered milks because I don't buy whole milk. I use 2% or 1% powdered milk in my coffee. I whip it up into foam. Makes 1% powdered milk makes wonderful foam for coffee. So the question is basically, how long will pasta last? And the answer that I've been able to find is basically as long as you want it to. I mean, unless you see stuff growing on it, pasta will last, a pretty long time. Once it's opened, you're not going to have it for very long anyway, right? But try and keep it sealed. If you've opened it, try and put it straight back in and reseal it, would be my recommendation. And it will last you for as long as you need. And to me, that's, like, wow, why not? Now then, have you ever had a, bought a can of food and maybe accidentally left it in the back of the car and it froze? What do you need to do with that can if it's frozen? By the way, be very careful when you buy any canned food. If it's dented or looks like it's expanded, don't touch it. Okay? Go to the next can. Because canned goods will basically last you, as I said, as long as you want to, which is why most people have them in their emergency kits, all right? A lot of canned food. But what you need to know is that's only if the can is not dented or whatever. I read a wonderful, can't remember, it was years ago. I read a beautiful thing by one woman who always bought cans of food that didn't have any labels on them because she could get them for next to nothing. She had a very big family. And what she would do is go to the supermarket and go, do you have any cans that, the labels fell off? And then she would buy everything that they had. Now, interestingly enough, she had no idea what was in the can. Unless, of course, it's a spam can, in which case you know what it is. But, and so she said it was used to be great fun because they'd open up 2 or 3 cans and see what was there, and then make their food around those cans within the next couple of days. Interesting. Jeannie's saying about 6 months ago, one could not find giant shells anywhere. Pasta shells, sorry. So I saw them recently and bought 3 packages for stuffed shells. Good idea. Very good idea. So, are we all more educated now about best by, sell by dates? And then, of course, use by. All right, now then, do any of you have any questions? This piece of paper tells me how long you can leave it in the refrigerator and how long you can have it in the freezer, sort of. How many of you are going, I got stuff in my freezer that's a couple of years old? Yep, join the rest of us. So we know it's not going to kill you. All right? So if you've got anything that you want to know, how long can I keep it in the fridge? How long can I keep it in the freezer? Ask me now, because right now I have this piece of paper in front of me. And the reason, and think about what you're going to cook for Christmas and what you could have left over. All right? Now, while you're asking me those questions, I'm going to find us another quote that we can laugh at, hopefully. How many of you agree that it's leftovers night, we'll save money and we won't waste food, really means I don't feel like cooking? Yeah. Sandy's saying, I think chicken products should only be frozen for 6 months. I'll admit I've had things older than that. Yeah. Let me tell you what. This is, by the way, by the government food safety, the U.S. government food safety thing. Chicken, it says, hang on a second. Funny enough, the one that's got pages on it is pork. So if you want to know about that, ask me. There's a lot on that. Chicken or turkey whole, all right? 1 or 2 days in the fridge, but up to a year, Sandy. Fresh poultry you can keep up to a year in the freezer, as long as your freezer is at the right temperature. Okay. If you got chicken or turkey pieces, like chicken breasts or thighs or whatever, 1 to 2 days in the fridge, and then 9 months. So the smaller it is, the less time. If you have a whole turkey in there, it'll last longer. Good. All right. I thought that's good to know. Anybody else got a question? Other than chicken, what would you like to know about? Anybody going to have ham? There's a lot about ham that I didn't know. So let me tell you what it says. Fresh, uncured, and uncooked ham, 3 to 5 days in the fridge and up to 6 months in the freezer. Uncooked. A single slice maybe you buy. Right? If it's cooked 3 to 4 days, this is ham, in the fridge, and 3 to 4 months. Now, I've got ham in my freezer that's older than that, but I'm inclined to cook it first, right? So cured, cooked before eating. All right, fully cooked, vacuum sealed at plant and unopened, all right? So you buy it, vacuum pack that single slice, 2 weeks or the use by date in the fridge, 1 to 2 months in the freezer. Okay. Where did I see? Yes. How about the spiral cut? How many of you are going to have spiral cut ham? All right. Cooked, store wrapped slices. All right. Now let's do the whole thing. Country ham. Oh, country ham. Yeah, it's a smaller one. About a week in the fridge and about a month in the freezer. Now then, prosciutto, Parma, or dry Italian hams. Okay. 2 to 3 months in the 2 to 3 months in the fridge. Very cost effective. 1 month in the freezer. I didn't realize that, right? Wow. That is a very cost effective thing to buy. Like that. All right. Anybody got anything else that they'd like to know about? Luncheon meat. How about if you buy luncheon meat, pre-packaged luncheon meat? If you've opened the package 3 to 5 days, okay, in the fridge, 1 to 2 months in the freezer. And if it's an unopened package, 2 weeks in the fridge and up to 2 months in the freezer. I haven't got the canned goods things here, but basically beans in a can, think about that. It's been cooked up to over 100 degrees, and then, canned. So you got it vacuumed, but as it cools, basically, I would say, Jody, can you just double check it? But to my mind is years. I've still got canned baked beans that I put away for the pandemic, and I'm not rushing to open them. Open it and smell it. Yes, they actually say that a lot. Regardless of this, if you open it and it smells funny, don't use it. But if you open it and it smells quite normal, then chances are it's fine. So what I'm trying to do is to make you see, what about hot dogs? Yes, good one, Karen. I got that one. An opened package, 1 week in the fridge. 1 to 2 months in the freezer. Only 1 to 2 months. That's surprising, right? Unopened package, same 2 weeks in the fridge, and still 1 to 2 months in the freezer. How many of you are going, I got hot dogs that have been there for a year? I do. Because I don't eat them very often. I got cheese hot dogs in there somewhere. I bring one out every now and then, and and cut it up, cook it and cut it up as a treat. So how about that? Did anybody learn anything? What surprised you? I love it when we learn things, because to me, it's like it's that time of the year where you wonder. Canned vegetables at least a year, Jeannie. Right? What they've said is if it's acidic, if it's tomato or fruit, acidic fruit, then it's only, what did I say? I think 6 months. But if it's canned vegetables or meats, basically a long time. Whatever I said earlier. All right, so Sandy's saying, it's funny because sometimes yogurt goes a couple of days past their date and they're fine. However, in Europe, I had yogurt in the fridge and the date stamped on the packet, if I didn't eat it by the date stamped on the packet, it molded. Right, this is about, is it used by or best by? All right, that's what you got to check for. If it's used by, eat it by that date. Jody's saying canned beans. The food in the container is commercially sterile and vacuum sealed, and it prevents any new bacteria from getting in, so it will not spoil. 2 to 5 years. Thank you, Jody. That's what I would have said. Okay, and Karen's saying, as we all are, I'm sure, wow, nothing lasts as long as I thought in the freezer. That's why I thought I'd just mention it. However, how many of you have eaten stuff that's been in the freezer for a couple of years and you're still here to tell the tale? So, yeah, be aware, that's all. What I would suggest is if you're feeding yourself, that's at risk. One risk. Maybe don't feed it to the baby. The most remarkable thing about my mother is that for 30 years, she served the family nothing but leftovers. The original meal has never been found. How many of you relate to that? I try and make it, I've got into a new routine, which is every month I try and go through the whole of my fridge. Yes, Judy loves freezing butter. I freeze my butter, Jeannie. I think you all know I make my own butter, but I freeze it in little 1 teaspoon size sort of amounts, sort of just over, I guess. But I freeze them like this. So when I want some butter, I don't have to take out a whole slab. And no, I just take out, how many teaspoons do I need? And how do I make my own butter? I buy whipping cream. During the week, I use it. But at the end of the week, whatever I haven't used, I put in the blender, hit the loud button, and turn it into butter. And in case you want to try it, first of all, turn it into whipped cream, so you've got the peaks and everything. You'll know what that stage is. Once you've got there, add more water to it and then keep going until you get the butter floating on the top. All right. And then I just put it into a nut bag or I'll either do it in Nigel the Ninja. I did do it in a broadcast once, but I either do it in Nigel the Ninja or I do it with my magic bullet. And all I do is I whip it up until I can see the lumps of butter floating on the top. Do you understand that? First, I take it to the whipped cream. I normally take out a bit of the whipped cream and put it in a mason jar for me to have with my desserts. But then I put some water in it, maybe 1/4 of a cup or 1/2 a cup of water. And then I continue, and then it will separate. And then I put it in there, let the buttermilk drain out. Do I throw the buttermilk away? No, I use that for my smoothies. Okay, when it's all drained, I wash it really well, make sure that it's all nicely washed, and then I just push it into ice cube trays. So there we go. Very easy to do. Very easy. Now, the next thing. All right, here we go. Karen saying, may I ask a question off the food topic? Of course. If so, what is people's opinion on dating a co-worker that works in a completely different department and team? Whatever we tell you, you're going to do it anyway. All right. So, first of all, is there a company rule about dating people in the company? Right? Is it written anywhere that you can't do it? In which case, don't. I worked for one company where it was a written rule that you weren't allowed to date a client. which caused a big problem for me at one stage. I left the company. Um, really, he was much better than the company. So if there are no rules written, then there's nothing to stop you. Oh, yeah. Sandy's saying, "Hey, my husband and I are in at the same job, same department." I met. So it's just like only rule is you can't date your boss or someone within your department. Then you've answered your own question. This person isn't your boss, I gather, and is working in a different department. So if that's the written rule, now what happens if that person transfers into your department or you transfer into his? Then you got to one of you probably wants to leave if you want to carry on the relationship. By the way, this business about dating your boss. I had a friend of mine who dated her boss, and then they fell out, and he fired her because he didn't want her working for him anymore. What do you feel about that? And when I heard about it, I said, hey, you may want to take that to a labor lawyer or to the labor, whatever you've probably got a labor council or whatever somewhere. Okay. She ended up with $10,000 because you can't do that. All right. She ended up leaving, but she left with $10,000 in her pocket. So and why did she have to leave? Why didn't he? Again, all right, because we're women. Now, how many of you relate to this quote? My favorite time of the day is to get up and eat leftovers from dinner, especially spicy food. The reason I say that is Doug will eat anything for breakfast. You know what I mean? Doug does not waste any food whatsoever. Whatever's left over from last night's dinner, he will have it for breakfast. It's really incredible. And, because I've lived with him a couple of, I spent nearly 10 days with him, right? When I had my mastectomy. So it's always amazing. And he stayed overnight with me, and I've noticed that, right? I put stuff in the fridge, and, he knows that whatever in the fridge he can eat. And the next morning I'll catch him eating pizza with chicken, with, yeah, cold pizza, fried chicken. Yeah, absolutely. So some people can do it. I personally don't do it very well. I'd rather recook it into something. I don't know why. So leftovers in their least visible form are called memories, stored in the refrigerator of my mind and the cupboard of my heart. Isn't that lovely? All right, now then, Jody, we have to thank for the next thing. Jody sent me a link about coffee filters. Now, next time you're in the dollar store, grab, they plan to sell them in a lot at a time, all right? So grab enough coffee filters. This actually probably came from my local supermarket, right? So you can tell it was twice as big. Why? Because that's where the packaging goes to, right? To there. So here is a list, if you're interested, of things to do with coffee filters. And the first thing I want to tell you is, do you know you can wash them? Why would you? Because they're so cheap. But I want you to know you can. I use mine. I will use a coffee filter. Hang on a second. Okay, I will use a coffee filter, to clean my computer screen. That's probably well worth doing. All right. And then I huck it into my washing up bowl. Okay. And I just rinse it off. squeeze it out. Okay. And just leave it. Okay. And that will dry, not crinkled up like the next one, not like this. If you want it to be like this, then put it in a bowl. Okay. I personally don't do this, but let's do it for fun. Okay, just put it in a bowl. I got long nails, so I don't want to go through it. Okay, like that. Okay. And then as it dries, it will dry back into a coffee filter if you want it. So the first thing is you can clean mirrors, your shower, whatever, with a coffee filter. It doesn't have any lint or anything. It's a really good thing. Glassware, if you've got good quality glassware, really good idea to dry them with a coffee filter, not with a tea towel. So any of you use them for other reasons? I've got all sorts of good ideas here. Anybody? Do you use them for anything other than coffee? What did I do with my pokey stick, people? All right, Jeannie's saying, I loved cooked eggs in the morning. Typical meal would be English muffin with jam, 2 scrambled eggs, 1 piece of bacon, or a sausage link. Eggs fill you up and you don't feel hungry for a while. Sandy's saying, I've used them to strain homemade yogurt. I would love to make homemade yogurt, so please tell me how you do it. Sandy, send me the email, please. Yes, a mini bowl for popcorn or crackers. Now, you've got a lot of people coming to your house probably, but, you want to put some crackers out or candy or something, right? Really good idea. Okay. How many of you, second. If I wanted to, all right, how many of you know, not a bad idea to put a bun in? If you've got, buns in, so people can just pick up this. Good. You use an Instant Pot, and I don't have an Instant Pot. Okay. So, but I did it once, I seem to remember. But yogurt is so good for you. Homemade yogurt is easy and fun. Okay, Jody, show me that it's easy and fun, and I'll believe you. And I will be reporting on it. Jody's used a heating pad. That's interesting, isn't it? So let's carry on with coffee filters for a while. So have you used it instead of cheesecloth? Yes. For example, if you wanted to filter out the very last of the butter and the buttermilk, right, you could use it that way. So that's it. So use it instead of cheesecloth is one idea. How about covering food in the microwave? Have you ever thought of using it for that? All right. Oh, interesting. So Sandy is saying if you want to make yogurt from Fairlife milk, which of course I would, because I use Fairlife, you don't have to boil it first because it's already been through that. It's ultra pasteurized. So, by the way, Jody, I cannot thank you enough for getting me into drinking this milk. It is so good and it lasts so long. I've saved a fortune. I cannot tell you how much milk I used to throw away. So, thank you. But I buy my yogurt in a bag, because I'm in Canada. You can do that. You can buy it in a bag, and it lasts me about a month. But it's always nice to be able to have that skill. So, yep, Jody, make sure you add me to your list, please. I would like to know. So, how many of you agree you could put it over your food in the microwave so the spatters go onto here, not into your microwave, right? I think that's a good idea. Very good idea. What else have I got here? Oh, how about bouquet garni? If you put your herbs or spices in here, all right, and then tie it up. Actually, easiest way to do this is halve it, I think. Halve it again, and now you've got it ready for a filter. All right, that's now a filter. But then put your herbs in there, and then just tie it up with a bit of thread, okay, and drop it in your stew or whatever. Then you've got all the flavors that you want without all the bits getting in your teeth. All right. And so the other thing is, obviously, you probably saw that I'm drinking tea today. What I'm making is my own chai tea. All right. And I make a whole batch of it and then just make my chai tea. Okay, that's a good one. Let's see what else I've got for you here. I found all sorts of things. Thanks, Jody. Now, this I haven't done, but I believe it to be true because I seem to remember I've seen it somewhere else. Use it to clean stainless steel. Your fridge, if you've got a stainless steel fridge. If you've got a stainless steel kettle. If you've got a stainless steel sink, right? After you've washed it or whatever, just rub it with one of these and it will shine. So, very good idea. Anything that's stainless steel, you can use it for. Now, this is a good one. If you've got any areas in your home that are a bit funny smelling, right? Just put some bicarb of soda, in here and leave it wherever that smell is. And the bicarb will absorb the odor. So that's a good one to know. What else have we got? Have you ever opened a bottle of wine? Well, have you ever opened a bottle of wine, people? And ended up with a bit of cork in the wine. Really good, as I said, same thing. Fold it once, fold it twice. Now you've got the funnel shape, right, like that. Okay, take a funnel, and now you can just filter your wine. Sandy's saying, on the gardening topic, I think I'm getting an AeroGarden for Christmas. Husband doesn't know that I know. A rookie mistake because we share our Amazon account. Yeah, rookie mistake indeed. I always have that problem because Yvonne is my bookkeeper. So anything I buy, from Mr. Bezos, she ends up knowing how much it costs because she does the books. Okay, so get this idea? So great for, what else could you filter? Oil. If you've cooked anything with oil, you're right? Just make a filter and filter it through. You'll be amazed. The oil looks disgusting and you filter it and it comes out beautifully. The other thing is, Hi, Kez. Kez is saying, have I used them for crafts? No, but Jody and I saw a really nice thing the other day, which was like little bags, gift bags made of newspaper, and they had um, the tops of them had doilies. But I'm thinking, you could actually just have this at the top, Jody, all right? Whatever shape you wanted, that would seal it beautifully. Good idea, Kez. Because I mean, Sandy, yeah, just don't let him know. He didn't want you to see it, obviously. All right. All right. What else have I got here? Hang on a second. What else can you use it for? Um. Oh, here's another nice one. Really nice for spray a little bit of oil in your pot, your pan, and then use a coffee filter just to spread it around. If you don't have one of those silicone brushes. And then, it's biodegradable, so that's good. How many of you don't like the bits in orange juice? Filter it. Very simple to do. Now, this is a nice idea, I thought, which is if you've got plates that you only bring out once a year for Christmas parties, yeah, maybe bacon. Right. Use it to filter bacon. Good idea. All right. Because the bits of bacon are the things that will go rancid, not the actual grease, but the thing. And you got to admit that you cook anything in bacon fat, it just tastes so much better, right? Fries done in bacon fat, just, a whole different level, in my view. So, and every now and then, about once every couple of months, I actually make fried bread with bacon fat. Takes me back to my youth. We used to have fried bread all the time. Very good idea. Thank you. Um, anyway, so protect your plates. If you have good quality plates that you only bring out once a year for the Christmas thing, you can protect them by putting a coffee filter in between. Nice idea. Now then, have no, fried bread is not donuts. No, fried bread. Are you ready for this, Karen? This does not go under the category of health food. So let's start there. What you do is you take a piece of bread and you soak it in bacon fat, and then turn it over and soak the other side in bacon fat, and then you put it in a hot fry pan and crisp it up. They say it's to die for, and I think there's more to it than that because the chances are it's an instant heart attack waiting to happen, but it is so good. So it's really yummy. Yep, absolutely. Very Brit thing. The Brits do it all the time. Yes, very good idea. Sandy's saying, I've learned recently that a small piece of paper towel will help absorb extra fat in ground meat. The other thing is this, Sandy. I learned this when I became diabetic, I think. But I've learned that I can cook the meat, put it in a sieve or a colander, and then rinse it with hot water, right? So not only have I strained the fat off it, but I've also washed the fat off it. Does that make sense to anybody other than me? And I do it quite regularly because I don't want too much fat. I'm at an age where I just don't want too much fat. You're saying, well, that's where all the taste is. Well, I assure you that even though I do that, there's still enough left on it that, it's still tasty. But I know that it's a lot healthier for me. All right, so how many of you can see that it's not a bad idea to have one of these maybe wherever you're cooking and just put your spoon or whatever you're mixing with, or your spatula or whatever on here rather than on your countertop? Good idea. Now, This is one that you probably already do. How many of you, when you get fresh lettuce, take the stalk off it and then wrap it in paper towel or these? If you do that, that lettuce will last you I can buy that 3 pack of romaine and I can still eat it for like almost a month. I don't open it very often, but when I do, I just take out the paper towel or this and put more in there to absorb the extra. And I want to tell you, I can literally eat that lettuce for weeks. Good idea. Sandy's saying I've also using it to absorb liquid when in foods that's being thrown away. For example, cereal. Drain what I can, use a piece of paper towel or one of these, all right, just to drain it. And so you're not putting all that liquid into the organics bin. Really good idea. Really good. So the main thing to remember is, depending on how thrifty you want to be, all right, is that they are washable. And I think you all know, and I'm going to keep reminding you because it's important. Here we go again, right? Wet wipes, right? If you've got wet wipes, throw them in the wash and reuse them for paper towels. These are also wet wipes that I've washed many, many times. And I don't worry about if they're stained. I know they're washed, right? They've been through the washing machine. These probably have been through 20, 30 times and I'm still using them. Every now and then, yeah, this is paper towel, okay? And as you will see, it's discolored. But all I did is I use paper towel and I throw it in the washing up bowl, rinse it off, and then leave it to dry. And again, you can use it time and time again. All right, Sandy's saying, I cannot get my husband to reuse Ziploc bags. Well, change your husband would be a thought. All right. And again, buy thick Ziploc bags. If you buy the thin ones, he's more likely to throw it away. But if you buy these good quality ones and say to him, just want to tell you, these cost 50 cents a piece or whatever it is, or, you know, the silicone type ones, Sandy, right? He is unlikely to throw that away, right? That's a silicone bag, right? And this is called husband. This is a silicone bag. Want to tell you, they cost, you know, $1 each or whatever it is. Do not throw them away. When you've used them, I don't mind you don't want to wash it. Just huck it in the sink. I will wash it and reuse it. By the way, all my silicone bags, I turn them inside out when I want to wash them. Turn them inside out. And I put them in my dishwasher. Okay. Right? Put them in my dishwasher, inside out. That means that all the water is getting on the inside bit. When they come out of the dishwasher, right, I just turn them back the right way. And these I have had a good many years. If I said 5 years, I wouldn't be exaggerating. So a good point, Sandy. Very good point. So reuse, recycle, and repurpose whatever you can. And, you know, there are people that roll their eyes at me because I do this. But, you know, you've got to think about it when you're trying to save money, that I save little bits of money like this so that I can buy the things I want to buy. Does that make sense to anybody? It's not that I'm frugal necessarily. It's just like, hey, I can save a couple of bucks here and I can put that couple of bucks towards something for Confetti Corner or towards something else. You understand? So it's like, think about it. And the other thing, wherever possible, you know, if you can make it, do that, because it's going to be healthier 9 times out of 10. You know what went into whatever it is you're cooking. I also found that by making the little, yes, making the little baby pitas, normally my pita would be this size. Yeah, this is the size of my normal pita, like this. Okay, but it was so cute. I made it this size today and filled it up with cheese and cucumber, and it was just so nice. There we are. All right, so I hope you've learned something today, as usual. Jody, thank you for passing on the ideas about the coffee filters. That was a really nice addition. And I thought a good idea for us to think about. By the way, flatware. If you are putting out flatware, for your Christmas table, right, have one of these with you. They're great for cleaning silver. Just or stainless steel, whatever you've got. Just make sure that they're clean, right? So very, very useful. Thanks very much to all of you for being here. I hope you smiled a bit, and I hope that you learned a little bit. And most of all, I wanted to talk about Christmas weekend. I wanted to make sure that we all agree. I'm going to do a broadcast on Friday, but then we're going to take Christmas off. All right? Yes, Kez is saying the technology they use for paper towels to not fall apart is clever. Remember how they used to nearly instantly fall apart, right? But now, stick with the fabric ones where you can. Good idea. So I'm glad that you enjoyed learning a few things and getting some new ideas. And thank you for sharing your ideas. You've got to remember that we are a group of people with a lot of knowledge. And we do what we can to help each other, benefit from our good things and bad things. How many of you laughed when I said, instead of trying to find the right size box, why don't I just make the chapel smaller? Duh. I couldn't believe that when I realized it. I went, how many different packaging ideas have you tried that still don't work? But, just bring it down by half an inch and you got it solved, right? And what I want you all to think about is, what is it that you're struggling with that there probably is a very simple answer. And if you don't know what it is, share it. Maybe we can come up with it. This is DearMamaSal saying, have a wonderful week. And we will see each other, for those who want to, on Friday. And then we will take Christmas off and just enjoy. Mind you, that doesn't mean you can't contact us or anybody. If anybody needs support over the Christmas time, are any of you on your own at Christmas this year? Let me ask that question. Are any of you on your own for Christmas this year? Because if you are, all right, then let's see how many of them you can link up with other people so that you have people to chat to who are also on their own, so that you're not on your own. You know what I mean? It's like, if ever you want to solve your problem, solve somebody else's. So if you're alone for Christmas, find somebody else who's alone. And either, communicate with them during the day or go on Zoom with them, or, maybe it's somebody local, take them for a coffee or whatever. It's amazing how that changes your whole perspective on things. This is DearMamaSal saying bye for now. Thank you, Jody, for being our admin. Thank you, Jeannie, for backing Jody up. And to all of you, have a great week. It will all get done. You know that. You just have to let go of the other things that need to get done. Bye-bye for now.